Hello, this is an estate and gift tax online module. We're talking about the gross estate, and now we're turning our attention to section 2036A1. I am Professor Donna Byrne, and we will get going as soon as we can here. Okay, so let's do a little review first of all. We've seen so far that the transfers that take place at death are the ones that are subject to the estate tax. And we started with section 2033, which includes pretty much all of the probate estate and not really much else, which means that we've got some other work to do. 2034 didn't add much. That covered those marital rights to inherit. The 2040 did include joint tenancy property. Now, if you think about it, when there's a right of survivorship, that means that at the moment of death, the decedent's interest disappears, and the remaining joint tenant owns everything. 2040B included half the value for a married joint tenant, and 2040A included all of the value for a non-married joint tenant, unless the surviving tenant could prove that they had contributed something. Now, 2036A1 is a little bit different. Here's how it goes. The value of the gross estate shall include the value of all property to the extent of any interest therein of which the decedent has at any time made a transfer, except in case of a bona fide sale for adequate and full consideration of money or money's worth, by trust or otherwise, under which he, the decedent, has retained for his life or for any period not ascertainable without reference to his death, or for any period which does not in fact end before his death, retained the possession or enjoyment of, or the right to the income from the property. Okay, let's unpack this. It's a little bit dense. So first of all, we're including in the gross estate the value of property that the decedent already transferred during life. Okay? And has retained possession or enjoyment or the right to income. Okay, so decedent transferred during life and retained the right to income. For how long? For life. Or for any period that's kind of like life, right? A period that we can't determine without reference to the decedent's death, or a period that in fact didn't end before death. Okay, so three big requirements. First of all, the decedent made a transfer during life. We would probably call that a gift. Decedent retained possession or the right to income and retained it for the rest of decedent's life. Okay, that seems straightforward. Retained a life estate. All right, it's not always going to be that clear. All right, but here's an example. Doris transferred money to an irrevocable trust, income to herself for 15 years, and then the remainder to Ralph. Okay? We've analyzed problems like this when we looked at the gift tax. So this was a gift of a remainder to Ralph for gift tax purposes. And now we're going to posit that Doris dies in year 12. Okay, now she didn't technically retain that for life, but this was a period that did not end before her death. So we include the value of all of this property in Doris's estate. Now, how about this one? She transferred the money to an irrevocable trust, income to herself quarterly until the last payment before her death. Okay, so now the right to income ends before Doris's death. But we can't tell when that is without referring to her death, so this is a period not ascertainable without reference to the decedent's death. And so that means that we include the whole value of the corpus in the gross estate. How about this one? Doris transferred money to an irrevocable trust to pay income to Adam for life, and then income to herself for life, and then the remainder to Ralph. And Doris dies while Adam is still alive. Now, she actually never receives any of the income. But that doesn't matter. She retained a right to income, and she retained that right for her whole life. And so what we do here is we include the whole value of the corpus minus the value of Adam's remaining life estate. Okay, so here's some practice. What are the gift and estate tax consequences if Donald establishes the following irrevocable trust with the bank as the trustee? It's going to be income to Donald for life, remainder to Anne. You could stop the video and think about it. First of all, for gift tax, Donald has made a gift of the remainder to Anne. It's a transfer of property. He hasn't held on to any strings, so it's completed. For what it's worth, this is a gift of a future interest, so there's no annual exclusion. For the estate tax, the whole value of the corpus will be included in Donald's gross estate under 2036A1 because he has retained the right to the income for his life. All right. What if, same scenario, Donald creates an irrevocable trust with a bank trustee to pay income to Donald for 10 years and then the remainder to Anne, and Donald dies in year 12. Okay, now our analysis for gift tax purposes is pretty similar. We'll take year 12 first. He made a gift of the remainder to Anne. It's just that this remainder starts after 10 years, not at the end of Donald's life expectancy. So we just have a different number to plug in to calculate values, but it's still a gift of the remainder. For the estate tax, Donald, in this scenario, did not retain his interest for his whole life. Right? He outlived it, so he has nothing left to do with this trust. Nothing is included in his estate. But what if he had died in year 8? Ooh, that's different, okay? Because now he retained a life interest for a period which did not, in fact, end before his death. We include the whole value of the corpus. Okay, so now we'll turn to the actual cases from your casebook. The first 3 involve decedents who continued to live in a house after transferring it. I think the issues are a little bit clearer in trusts, because usually in a trust we've said what we mean, hopefully. We get these fuzzy cases when people give their house to the kids and then they don't move out. So the first 3 cases actually all involve residences. The 4th one is a little bit different. It involves setting up a trust for the benefit of minor children that I might still be obligated to support. So I think these will be in the next video. There's the magic again, because the estate tax really is magical. So thanks for watching. We'll look at the cases in the next